All right, this is lesson number 2 in the question, are you voting for a capitalist or a Marxist? And in this situation, this is primarily for U.S. citizens because we're talking about Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. The question is she a Marxist or is she a capitalist? And one more time, I'm a ring knocker. I went to military school, federal schools. And we're called ring knockers because government pushes us out there to learn to fight. And we have to study this book here, economics. The problem with our school system, the public school systems and universities, most teachers are Marxist. They just don't know it because they're not required to read or study this book. So when I studied Communist Manifesto, I went, oh my God, my family, most of my friends, they're communists. They're good people. Again, communism and capitalism are like religions, like Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism. They're kind of context of a philosophy. So the Communist Manifesto, once again, the how do you know is, do you believe in taxes? Okay, so this is tax-free wealth. Trump, if you remember, he was debating Hillary Clinton, definitely a Marxist by her actions. And Bill, Bill had other activities going on, as we all know. But anyway, tax-free wealth is this. America was founded as a tax-free nation. Our first battle was not that Alexis was going to conquer it. It was 1773, the Boston Tea Party. So America said to England, take your tea, screw your taxes, we're out of here. So for years, America was a tax-free nation until these guys started coming into our school system. Okay? So this is a lesson on taxes because if you're a Marxist, your highest expense is tax. Everything is taxed today. You can't go anything without paying a tax. But if you're a capitalist, like when Hillary was debating Donald Trump for the election, she said to them, and Donald Trump,
he's paid nothing in federal taxes.
And Trump smiled and says,
that makes me smart.
And we at Rich Dad teach people to be capitalists, and you don't have to pay taxes legally. So this is my book by my friend Tom Wheelwright, Tax-Free Wealth. You want to be a capitalist? Read this book. You want to be a Marxist? Pay your taxes. So again, what we're doing here is we're selling this T-shirt here. This is the cover of this book here. We're capitalists. We teach entrepreneurs. And this is the back of the T-shirt. We teach capitalist education. And if you would like one of these little babies here, they're $50. $5 goes to postage and handling, and $45 goes to the Trump campaign. And as I said before, this election between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, probably the most important election of our lifetimes. If you're a capitalist, you want to wear one of these T-shirts, it's $50. Send it to Rich Dad. Go to the website and find the address. We're out of smalls. These babies are going fast. We have a few mediums, larges, and extra larges. So state which size you want. There's only one color, black. But anyway, wear this with pride. If you don't want to wear it, don't buy it. If you want to support communist Marxist, Kamala, don't buy it. I don't really care. I support the freedom of choice in the election, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. One more time. How do you know you're a Marxist? The first rule of Marxism is taught in this is abolition of private property. As I said in the previous video, the way they get your private property is 1, inflation, 2, taxation. You're going to find at the end of this video here, you can go to my website, and it's a comparison written by Tom Wheelwright, one of the smartest guys I know. You can compare Kamala's tax proposals and Trump's tax proposals, and then you will know, is she a Marxist or is she a capitalist?
I want to talk about the differences between the Harris tax plan and the Trump tax plan because they are vastly different. President Trump, on the one hand, wants to maintain the 2017 tax reductions overall and actually add to those tax reductions. About a $4 trillion tax reduction. Vice President Harris wants to increase taxes by anywhere from $4 to $8 trillion, depending on how you count things. So who gets the tax benefits and who gets tax increases is actually as important as how much they are. So Vice President Harris has taken the approach of very much focused on consumers, not only in her economic plan where she has price controls as part of her economic plan, but really in her tax plan, where she's looking at an increase in the child tax credit to $3,600, a baby tax credit, an increase in the earned income tax credit, a first-time home buyer's tax credit. And then on the other side, very much taxing what she calls taxing the rich, but really what ends up being taxing the investors. So where Harris, if you look at the cash flow quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, Harris is very much focused on the left side of the quadrant, the E's and the S's, and President Trump is very much focused on the right side of the quadrant, the B's and the I's. And you can look at this by where Vice President Harris wants to increase the corporate tax rate from 21% to 28%. President Trump wants to decrease the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15%, where Vice President Harris wants to eliminate the qualified business income deduction for entrepreneurs over a certain amount of money, $400,000. President Trump would maintain that for every entrepreneur, no matter how much they earn. So really encouraging the growth of businesses and not limiting the size of the business. President Trump would bring back the full deduction for research and development expenses, bonus depreciation, and whereas Vice President Harris would like to eliminate those. Vice President Harris would like to increase the capital gains tax from 20% to 33%, where President Trump would like to maintain it where it is. Vice President Harris would tax gifts as capital gains tax on death, in addition to estate tax. Vice President Harris would also tax unrealized capital gains over a certain amount, all of which have an impact on the amount that's available to invest in hard assets. Whereas President Trump would add tariffs potentially, which would actually hurt the consumer. They would pay higher prices from the tariffs, but President Trump would also have some consumer-friendly tax proposals, such as eliminating the tax on Social Security income and eliminating tax on tips and overtime. So in balance, you have one candidate who's very much focused on tax benefits for investors, and you have one candidate who's very focused on tax benefits for consumers.
Trump's proposal, he wants us to be richer by reducing taxes. She wants us to be poor because she wants to increase taxes. She's always saying what most Marxists say, tax the rich. Well, she's not the brightest. I mean, she's maybe a smart attorney, but the rich don't pay taxes because we're smart. Exactly as Trump says. So we do it legally. I don't want you to go to jail and become a boyfriend of somebody. Do it legally. So this book by Tommy Wright tells you how to do it legally, but Kamala wants to raise our taxes. She's always saying tax the rich. Once again, how do you steal the private property? Inflation, when they cut the pipeline, to taxation. She's going to raise taxes. What Biden did was he hired, I think, 88,000 new IRS agents, Internal Revenue Service tax agents, to go after the rich. The poor and middle class, or Marxists, hate the rich. That's gone on throughout history. And so that is a battle today. Are you a Marxist or a capitalist? And this book explains how you not pay taxes, but please go to our website and see what her tax proposals are compared to his tax proposals. And then you'll know if Trump is a capitalist or a Marxist. And please remember, if you want to be a capitalist, please buy this t-shirt here. This is the back. And wear it with pride and show your friend that you're a capitalist and they're probably Marxist. Thank you. If you want to watch the third part on are you voting for a capitalist or a Marxist, the third part is labor unions. And you see the way the Marxists get elected is the largest labor union in America is the teachers union. And President Obama, who was another Marxist, he was a guy that pushed through student loans. Today, America's youth, their student loan debt is $1.8 trillion. The teachers love Barack, from Hawaii. But he put our youth in serious debt. But he didn't put the youth of the rich in debt because the rich can pay for the kids' education. It's the poor middle class kids who are now stuck with student loan debt, which is the worst debt possible. I cannot emphasize, I would not touch a student loan. I would not touch a student loan at all because it's the worst type of debt possible. Thank you, Barack Obama. You know what? So when we come back, you can watch the next part of the thing on labor unions, but how labor unions and the teachers unions screw the poor and middle class.